Well, hello, fellow diamond painters. It is 5:07 a.m. It is now the 5th of February, 2026. Still working on The Librarian by Cheryl Baker through Diamond Art. Um, Hopefully you can hear me. But anyway, um, I, you know, I'm not happy, is what I am. I thought I'd diamond paint. I've been diamond painting for several hours, but I thought I would do another video and explain what the hell is going on. Sorry, but I'm a little ticked off. Um, I was told, to call that community action center either at midnight or a minute or two after midnight because it resets every 24 hours to get an appointment. So at exactly midnight, because I checked all my clocks and I waited till I had already started dialing because I figured by the time I had to get through all the prompts, all the gobbledygook they talk about, it takes at least a minute or so. It ended up being either 12:01 or 12:02. And I got to the point, or the part of it, where it said, push this button for either PIP or winter emergency or whatever it was. And I hit the button, and you can either apply for a uh, in-person uh, appointment or a phone uh, one in case you're elderly and or you can't make it there, something like that. I pressed the in-person, and my clock said 12:02, and it said, "We're sorry, all appointments are there are no appointments available. Call back, 24 hours later, or call back at another time." I thought, you son of a gun. In 2 minutes, they were gone. Give me a break. So I ended up calling again because I thought, well, maybe the in-person ones are full. I'll try the phone ones. Nope, same thing. So I don't know what's going on. Um, I I will call the Salvation Army in the morning. The only issue with the Salvation Army is they want a disconnect notice, which I don't have. Uh, and they also say that they'll help you if you've exhausted other avenues, that you've checked, other things and got, you know, help that way or something, and, you know, whatever. But I'm going to call them in the morning and see if I can get somewhere because this is really getting to be very, very annoying. I mean, uh, you know, I don't owe a fortune. I mean, $189 to me is like, that's a fortune. But, I mean, I owe that, and I have like, maybe half that available. But the problem is, they're not going to take half and still not give me a disconnect. And if I pay that, then I'm down to $8 left until March. And the bad thing is, it really doesn't matter because whatever I pay now, my next month's bill is going to be through the roof. I know it. And it's like, I have never had a disconnect. Never. And the 20 years that I've lived here, when I first moved here, okay, I left a big house, and everything. But I moved here, and it was in 2000 because I left a abusive situation, and I had moved to a smaller town before this one in 2000. I moved here, 20 years ago here. So the, when I and where I had lived in the smaller town, I had fuel oil, so I didn't have gas, and I had shut off the gas when I left. I told him take it out of my name, and I don't know how that idiot that I left managed to get the gas back on in my name. He either had some other woman, somebody, say it on the phone. I don't know what he did. But by the time I moved here, and had to have gas on in my name, there was $15,000 owed on that gas. Now, explain to me how a gas company can allow it to get that expensive and not disconnect that person. I don't get it. But so in order for me to have gas on in my name here, I had to not only pay, and it wasn't even my bill. I explained to them. I showed them a copy of where I lived and that I didn't live there in 2000 and all those things. And they said, doesn't matter. It was in my name. I had to pay it. It really ticked me off. But they said I had to pay not only the whatever my bill was every month, but an extra, I think it was an extra 50 or something like that every month. So there I was, and they said that if I did that within, I think it was 2 years or 18 months or 2 years, for every time I paid that, they would knock off a certain amount off that 15,000 to where it would pay it off without me having to pay a whole 15,000. I don't know how they managed to figure that out, but in about 2 years that was paid off. So, and then I had HEAP, so it was helping me in the winter months, and and the rest of the time I was paying my current bills. I paid them all, and in the last 3 years, trying to get HEAP, I don't know what the issue was. I don't know, if they shut down certain services, but even when I'd send in my applications, and my income was pretty much the same, there was nothing, nothing changed, nothing was different, but I'd send in all the information they wanted and needed, and never heard from them for 3 years. So for 3 years, I kept sending it in, but for 3 years, I was still paying my bill. I paid it every month, no problem. Some of them were high, but I paid them. So I've never had a disconnect. I've never had, no, I've always paid my bill on time, the first of every month. So I don't know what I'm going to do. Because I can't get, good heavens, first I tried, it's been almost 2 weeks now. It was a week and a half before. It's almost 2 weeks now that I've been trying to get an appointment or something. And I started calling them before at like 7 or 8 in the morning because it said, 7:45, you can start calling or whatever. And I would call. And then then I'd call and I couldn't get through. Nothing. And it tells you, don't leave a voicemail. Don't leave a voice message because they will not get back with you. Um, so I wasn't getting any answer then, so I tried mid afternoon. Then it said, "Oh, you must be calling." A recording would say, "You're calling during our peak hours. That's why you're not getting an answer. Try calling between 3 and 5 o'clock." So at 3:15, I'd start calling, and I'd get the same message. "Oh, you must be calling during our peak busy hours. Call between 3 and 5," which I was calling between 3 and 5. What the heck? I even tried. And then they would give me a message. You can make an appointment online at blah 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 www.htp all this other crap. So I tried. I even did that. I filled out 2 times to try to get an appointment through the online application. Nothing. I have heard, seen nothing. No emails, no phone calls, no nothing. So, and it's not like I'm not trying. I am trying. So, I guess the Salvation Army is going to be my last salvation, sort of, to put it bluntly. If they can't help me, I don't know what I'm going to do. So it's like, man, I'm telling you, because as soon as I can get that resolved, then I can get the other issue resolved where I can change the carrier uh, for the gas so that I'm not being charged, $8 and something for every, I don't know if they call it cubic feet or whatever it is, that you use. When I was originally, before they talked me into this contract that's over now, I was originally paying for something for the carrier that I had, so I have to pick a different carrier. I mean, I stay with the same gas company, just a different uh, delivery source, I guess, or whatever they call it. I need to look on the bill to see what they call it, but so I have to do that. But I need to get this all fixed first, and then deal with that and change them. And it says it still takes them at least a month or two to change carriers. So even if I do it, say next month, I'm stuck with these idiots paying that high price for another 2 or 3 months. That's going to kill me. I just, I don't get, I don't understand this mess. I just don't understand it. You try to do right, you try to do what you're supposed to do and pay your bills and everything else, and then you get, you know, circumstances beyond your control, and you're trying to do the right thing, and you can't find. They put up these action centers and these help centers and all this stuff to help you out. And as soon as you do, one of the things they say is, "Well, we don't have enough employees, and we don't have enough." You know, they have the money, but it's only good until March. So I don't have much time left to try to get an appointment and get, something taken care of. And, they said, that uh, appointments are limited, and we have very few employees to take phone messages or phone calls and make appointments and all this other stuff. Then why have the stupid thing? If you can't do the job, to help people who really desperately need it, I mean, heck, I don't know. I, I'm babbling at this point, but it's really bugging me. And I, with my being a diabetic too, this is really stressing me out. I mean, I don't really feel like eating. I don't feel like cooking. I just don't feel like doing. I'm lucky I'm doing this, and I can feel my insides like shaking. you get your insides just vibrating because you're trying to figure things out. You're trying to do something or trying to do right by, you know, because I'm not trying to not pay my bills. I mean, I don't get that much money to begin with, and this stupid lot rent. I mean, like I said, $375 now, and it's going to go up every year another $20, or if not more. And you want to raise the dang on lot rent, then make improvements. They're doing all this. They're not doing anything to fix anything. Or I don't know. That's the bad thing about a company that buys up properties, and it's just a tax write-off to them. They make buku bucks that way. So, I've been on here. What? The light's in the way. About 16 minutes. I don't know. I'm not going to stay on much longer. I just wanted to show you that I am working on this. And, yeah, being the time it is, our temperature, it's -1 degree. -1. Thank goodness there's no wind blowing or anything. But then I heard through the grapevine that we might get some warmer temperatures next week. I don't know. I doubt it, because it said something about maybe like 40 degrees. It sure would be nice. You know, the only issue with that is that when the snow starts melting, I'm afraid my roof's going to start leaking again. That's another issue that I have to figure out how to get fixed. I've been fighting with idiots. They make a little repair and then it works for a little while and then it starts leaking again. I've been dealing with this for, well, the leak in the one bathroom I've been dealing with for 20 years. That's it. I've had several handyman guys here, and replacing the exhaust fan, and trying to seal up the area around it, and it still leaks. And now my range hood, brand new range hood that I'd gotten last year, now it's starting to leak again. So it's like I can't win. I'm about ready to resign myself to the fact that, hey, I'm lucky things just don't fall down around my ears before I drop dead. I just don't know what else to do, you know. And I don't sit there and say, okay, why me? And did I do something wrong in life or something like that? No, it's not that. It's just that there are people out there that are way worse off than I am, and I know that. And I appreciate, you know, what I do have. I really, really do. But sometimes you begin to wonder, you know, who's out for my blood? Because I tell you, it's like I live below, I live below the poverty level. I also try to live within my means, and I don't have much, you know, to do that. But it's like can't win for losing. So I'm going to get off here, and I think I'm going to get me another cup of coffee, finish up this little bit here. I have to use my tweezers when it comes to these ABs on here to pop them on there, because I I would try my air pen, The only problem with that is I'm afraid it's going to suck up some of the crystals, the covering into it, and it's going to clog it up. And I don't have any new filters for it. And I can't use my pen because it sticks to the end of my pen. And I don't like using the wax either because it leaves a film. So I use my tweezers for it. Then I just, like I said, I peel it off and fill it in. So, well, I get off here and see how much further I get. Today's grocery shopping day. So, like I said, we'll be going to the grocery store so I can uh, find some. I wanted to find some stuff to eat this time where if I don't feel like cooking, I can just either zap it, or in the microwave or something like that, or just make some big salads or whatever because I just do not feel like cooking, eating. Uh, I've been out of my cottage cheese for 2 weeks because I don't have the money. Don't have the money to buy it and my tomatoes and stuff. So I just, you know, a slice of toast for breakfast or, maybe one boiled egg or something like that. I'm sorry for complaining. I'm sorry. So, anyway, don't mean to bring people down. So, y'all have a good one. Uh, the weekend's coming. Hopefully, it'll be pleasant for most of you. Uh, y'all have a good one. And let's see, this Thursday. If I don't get back on here by Friday, I'll see you on Saturday. So, have a good one. Hugs. Love you all. DP Crazy Lady. She's out.